the colonizers. And some of them took in the children of the colonizers that they had at war with them.
Damn, right? But we know about the Jesus story, right? We can get into the hypothetics on it. But the point I want to make is the colonization from Christianity dealing with the Papist Bull, Spanish Inquisition, because a lot of I turn it on TV, I turn it on the internet, I turn it on a lot of places, and I still hear brothers like in this day and time still promoting the colonizing doctrine, even after they heard us or know the truth now, or heard the truth where they say, "Oh yeah, man, you know these people colonized us with this Christianity or." With some of this, like some of the information they took from us, from the Gilmix Expeditions leash, from the tablets, ancient tablets. It's some of our information in there with the ancient tablets. But what we saying is, it's people out here seriously still going hard in the paint with this colonization, and they are supposed to be our people, or are they not our people? They're still promoting that to hit the truth.
Listen. Just because you've heard the truth, that don't mean you've accepted it yet.
Okay.
A lot of those people have been faced with people like us, and we got some of the people that listen to us is combative with the information. Because that once you know the truth and somebody trying to make you accept a lie, you become combative and defensive and ready to bust them upside their head with the facts.
Right.
So we become arrogant and cocky with the information because we know it's true, which makes them shut down because they can't understand why you so arrogant with what you say is true when I've been believing this my whole life. You mean to tell me I gotta accept the fact that I've been lied to my whole life by everybody I knew? That's a hard pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the story I've been teaching for the last 30 years as a pastor is not true? Even though they told me in Bible college that the source of all of this information is from here and here.
Yeah.
And that this doctrine was written by the Catholic Church for this ecumenical council, this part of the doctrine, this ecumenical council is this part of the doctrine, and they still believe it's true. Or they making so much money pretending they're standing in the truth, and they don't want to give up that cash cow. But they don't know that these youngsters is coming through and they tipping sacred cows all night long in the cow tipping contest. Right? So they gonna eventually be forced to adjust to the reality that you can no longer conceal the truth under the doctrines of war called religion.
Right.
Religion was created for mental and psychological warfare by feigning to teach you spiritual developmental principles while they teaching you to submit to their jurisdictional authority under the jurisdiction of the Pope.
Clergies. They are clergy.
Yeah. So when they teaching the doctrine, they supplying a lifestyle. Sometimes if you tell the truth, you're gonna lose a lot of followers in the beginning.
Right. That's right.
That means you're gonna lose a lot of dollars in the beginning. But the thing about the truth is, when you consistently tell it, it starts to make people draw to it like a magnet. Right? So just because you go through a slump, you're gonna recover. Mm-hmm. But this will show you what you made of. That's the difference between champions and champions. Mm-hmm. The champion gonna work his way through the difficulty. The champ gonna try to find the easiest way around it. Mm-hmm. And the one who train the hardest gonna win.
Yeah, and then it's some people that they when you come like it's some people they hear this and they say that what we saying is foolishness. When we Christianity, Jesus is the way, Jesus is the only thing that's going, man. You better get on side of Jesus. And
Jesus said, these people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, but their hearts are far from me, teaching us commandments, the doctrine of men.
Go ahead, bust them up.
Let that sink in. They say they love me. They say they're with me, but they don't know me. Because while they're telling you about me, they following some man's edicts of what he said.
Go ahead.
As long as you think Jesus was a man, you already lost. That's why it says, follow as commandments the doctrine of men. Because the doctrine of the matriarchy is Mott. And if you follow the doctrine of the matriarchy called Mott, you're going to live a smooth and peaceful life in harmony with the universe. Or you can go the other route and create chaos and watch Apophis rise up and whoop your ass from pillar to post until you bump straight.
You dropping some, man, you cracking heads. So basically on what you said is right there. Let's get into this right here. Now, karma, because you brought up the laws of math.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, man, stuff what goes around comes around. Like the Bible says, you reap what you sow. That's another way of saying it. And it might be some wise quote they took it from us and put it to the Bible. But what I'm saying is that a true statement? But like, can you put good stuff out and get good back? Can you put bad out and get good bad back?
Only the alchemist can put bad out and get good in return.
Go ahead.
Because he's using the bad for the benefit of the good.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has got to transmute the energy. This creates what's called the flip.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's being carried on the frequency of love because no alchemists operate outside of the bounds of love. What the energy of love tell him and guide him to do, he gonna do it, even if it look like it might be bad, so to speak. He's using it for the good. So that's why I say you use the lie for a shield, but you cut with the truth.
Right. That's fire. That's fire. Let's roll another. Like if you go to Egypt, you got the three all the concepts that they got in Egypt, probably about like the birth of Haru, the Immaculate Conception, and then you could go into other cultures. They have the same type of culture, but it's got different names for it. Could you go in on how? Because it seemed like a lot of people got their culture from us, and then they just took it and put their own spin on it, and then the ones that came back and colonized us, they took our own teachings because it seemed like we had the Christian, the basis of the New Testament and the Old Testament, really the basis of the New Testament. We had that the essence of that Immaculate Conception with our Nana and all that. We had that already. So how are they allowed to steal our stuff and then come sell it back to us like it's like they started it?
So you ever study virology and concepts, right? So when you go around, all those are different cultural descriptions of the holy drama. When you say cultural, you look at what the people naturally do, and then you adapt the holy drama around a natural lifestyle and the things they already hold reference to teach them the method of ascension and resurrection of the self in the current lifetime, so you don't have to die a physical death. You die a spiritual death while you're alive, and you live eternally, because then you can see the future. You can see the past. You can see it all for what it is. Then you know that death is only an illusion. So these stories being adapted from the holy drama, and Christianity is the one that used the science to core out the essence of the story and twisted to teach the story wrong, but it's enough of it presence for your genetic memory to cleave onto the story and hold on to it like it's the truth. Because it's compatible with the holy dramas in everybody's DNA. Born on Earth. All Earthborn have the code, you just got to activate it by learning your erudition, by training the mind. Once you learn it, you activate, you become a manifest earth spirit, one of the guardians of the realm. Then you learn how to communicate in the basic common terms of the people of the era so that you can educate them on the ancient ways of modern times in terms that they can grasp, that make sense to the reality they live in. So they use the same science to use your genetics against you. Because you already know the story. You just didn't remember that Jesus is Isis and Emmanuel was Heru. And that the story in red was both of them talking because they wanted to exalt the son above the mother. But the son will never allow it to happen. Because he'll tell his soldiers to buy swords and knives, and he'll remind them that I come not to bring peace but a sword. My mama need to have her back first. Don't get me started. So the story is the same story. The epithets that was in the book of the coming forth by day that Ra gave to Isis is the same epithets they gave to Christ. The comforter. She's the heart of the Father, which is the heart of Ra. The heart of Ra is Ab Ra. Right? Him, the perfect black, is Osiris. She is Osiris's love, his heart, manifest opposite him to give birth to the son that she so desired to be like his father, Heru, so that he can understand the patterns of humanity so he can put himself back on his throne. And the son becomes the father. The prince becomes the king. The coronation becomes imminent for the baddest motherfucker ever born.
Hey, bro. So I don't know if you heard recently, but the Africans making a turn on the leaf, man. They said this is, and I quote, one of their main spokesmen. He said that that if they would have been colonized by Chinese, they would have been Buddhists. If they would have been colonized by Muslims, they would have been, by Arabs, they would have been Muslims. If they were, but since they were colonized by the British, they became Christians. And he said, and I quote, "The day that you show me the recipe on how to change a goat to a sheep, I'll show you how to change an African to a Christian." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. So
I just got done watching that,
right. So that I got it loaded up on my. Now this is my question, because they tearing down mosques. How long do you think that Christianity got over the that's because it's a colonizing Mecca.
A lot of the people that was practicing Christianity, especially on the continent, they practice Christianity open, but they believe their tribal traditions internally. Right? Now they tapping into their ancestral force because of the change of the age of the era and the return of the alpha to the omega. Right? The last becoming first and the first becoming last, the great changing of positions. Right? So they are moving according to the spirit of the ancestors. All of those religions that usurp their power is being overthrown by the ones who wholeheartedly still believe in their tribal traditions.
Right.
This is what's driving their unity. You know, I think it was one of them countries over there just had a coup. I think it was Madagascar, right outside the island off Africa. I think they just had a coup, and then the military joined on the ERN Traore, right? Because the president was on some BS, and he was trying to make the military kill the people, and the military joined with the people to overthrow the police. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that's when that's happened. That's gonna happen, man, because it's like this. So all these mega churches, you got churches that's huge. I mean, take up a whole block, right? Some churches, $1 million a week, guys. So, like I said, and then they getting these 501c3s. Now the Pope then restricted everybody and said that he washed his hands with it. The Pope before 2014 when he signed.
Yeah, that's when the fall of the papal authority fell, because that was under Obama's reign when he wrote Obama that letter.
Yeah,
right. Because he was already aware of the military operations and the tracking of the wealth. There's all of the people that they catching and questioning on terrorism and on the child trafficking keep pointing to the Vatican as the mastermind behind it. Damn. But the Vatican ain't the mastermind. The Vatican is the one who's giving the orders to everybody openly, and the Vatican is taking orders from Switzerland.
That's what it sounds like to me.
So while the Vatican was taking orders from Switzerland, the royal family, the Bushes, the Prescotts, the Cheneys, they all sent everybody to the Vatican because that's where they was getting their orders from. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bilderbergs, they all the ones that was rounded up was saying they was all the ones with the high power. They was saying they was getting the instructions from the Vatican, and not until the Pope got captured did they realize that the Pope was getting his instructions from Switzerland, from the banking cartels, the Khazarian bankers of Switzerland.
That's right.
But they don't look like the Khazarians we see fighting for Gaza. They look like us. That's the hard part to swallow.
Yeah.
Look, when you read Secret Relation Between Blacks and Jews, Volume 1, you start to realize that when people came, according to the tribal storytellers, they looked like us.
That's right.
And you read in the Secret Relationship where the Jew is identifying himself as being that particular one that the ancestral story said looked like us, that came and took advantage of their good graces. Right? So then when you go to modern history, you're looking at these people that's calling themselves Jews, you're like, these ain't the same people that we was fighting with in Jamaica, in Haiti, Dominica. That ain't how because they looked like us.
Right.
Because the ancestor told us they looked like us. But then the paleface don't come till later on to change the narrative and misdirect the tribes from who we really fight. They look like us, but they not us. They was using that marriage contract to shift the priority ownership of the land from the tribes to the church by switching it from the motherland to the fatherland.
Makes sense.
Once they did that, they hired palefaces to be what they call slave handlers. And they the ones that we begin to be told later on in the history books as the masters on the plantation. And then we couldn't understand why we didn't, because he was the one that married Big Mama and poisoned her off with the sweetheart swindle. And took over the plantation. He had to hire a cat's paw, a buffer. So under the pretense of the paperwork, he's losing the property in the sharecropping agreement. because the family they're working on the farm is not putting out enough product to meet the demand of the sharecropping agreement because somebody keep burning down the doggone crops.
Right. Sabotage.
Right. They didn't know that it was the same house nigga. He had to find a way to get the land from the mothers. And that's how he did it. So when they tell the story, the plantation story is the family farm repurposed story. Just like they repurposed the holy drama and gave you the church. Slave narrative is the same thing. It's a socio-political as opposed to spiritual religious. The purpose of it is for you to never grandfather clause the matriarchal right to distribute and control the distribution of the land and land settlements across the Turtle Island because that can't be changed and all of the colonizers are already aware of it. So now the goal is really just to get the women to wake up and start forming these women groups that they do to get their energy stable and get their priorities stable. The rest self-corrects at that point because it's their stuff. If they say that it go, it go. If they say it don't go, it's going to have to get corrected. But they have to self-correct first. You can't govern over somebody else and you out of control. Right? You can't govern over the land if you can't govern over your life. It's the same thing.
Now, hey Rod, so I did a little research and background on Europe before the Moors came over there, and well, the Moors was there too anyway. But they maintained that these people were nasty, man. Like the way they explained, they said that these people they only had 2 or 3 player changing clothes. And the queen had maybe like 4 pair, the king, but they didn't believe in taking baths. And I believe this too, because I knew a guy named Ted Rankin that said that he was from England and he didn't take a bath. He said, but once every 7 days because it wears his skin out. And the dust helped protect him from the sun. That's what he told me. This dude, pale man named Ted Rankin. He used to work out in the oil field with me. But they used to pee in pots. And shit in pots and throw it out the window. They still got Shakespeare's pot that he used to take a dump in over in the museum over there.
No, everybody didn't have outhouses.
Go ahead.
And even fewer people had flushing toilets.
Go ahead.
It's only certain cities that had the sewage drain infrastructure.
That's right.
It's an old Southern saying, you ain't got a pot to piss in the window to throw it out of.
Right.
That's where that come from.
That's right.
Right. So that was a way of getting the human waste outside of the house. Right. And they normally had an area where they dump them in, but you had to poop a pee somewhere.
Right.
Right. And that's why all of when the Moors left the castles to the Europeans, they just piss in the hallway.
Yeah.
They just shit with it. They just shit with it walk because they didn't think they wasn't civilizing like they told the world.
Yeah, that's right.
They was hand picking concubines that they wanted, and them was the ones they was teaching hygiene. The rest of them, they didn't teach it. They just taught them how to spray perfume to cover it up. The concubines they had children with birth your modern day Khazarian, your pale faced nappy head Jew.
Right.
Right. So once you understand that, then you know how they got control of the bank. The banker was given control of the money because they was blood family to the fatherland. And he wanted to keep the money from the motherland. It's a divorce settlement. So he take his concubines take the offspring, they gotta have some kind of royalty related rights, so he put them in charge of the money. That's when they created Khazaria. The Khazarians, when you go back, they show you the pictures of the Moors in the harems in Europe, right? And so the Khazarian became their banking offspring. This is why they be claiming that they the children of somebody, the children of Israel. They ain't the children of Israel. Israel is made up. They just pulled it out of the thin air. Ain't no real God that got people that he picked over another people that didn't create them with a land to belong to. Anybody tell you that narrative is telling you a BS false narrative. If God created the people, they was a part of the land they belonged to by nature. This is why you know who belong on earth and who don't, who gonna be here and who ain't. The earthborn get to say because they belong here. They was born here. They organically evolved here, developed here, however you want to say it, materialized here. They one with the earth, and the earth is one with them. They responsible to get rid of the parasites. And the parasites gonna subjugate the white blood cell until the white blood cell figure out a way to subjugate the parasite. It's the defense mechanism of the earth. It's all about education though, because it's the game of the gods. We playing human.
Hey, you know, from my perspective on the Israelite thing, I think that they stole and twisted it around. I think it was based on what I put together, that it was some kind of deal made between Inanna, which they say is Isis, and then Murdoch, who becomes Ra, and then Anu on that last little trip that they came down, where they made an agreement, and they said, "Oh yeah, we were gonna make this new land and combine the new land." And then our people, we're going to, under this treaty. It really was a treaty. It ain't had nothing to do with like a people, really. But it had something to do with the people, but it was a treaty. And out of that treaty, those people come a part of that treaty. You know what I'm saying? Or deal or whatever made between Inanna, Murdoch, who was pretty much like the police, like the chief of police of the land of Tamaray. And then he had trained, one of his names become Mantu, and he trained his people how to fight. And they trained this fighting, they call these fighting styles that he trained them, that Murdoch trained them, because Murdoch was a fighting warring angel. They called it Mantu art form. That's why if you look up God Mantu, and then you look up Ra, all of them got the same headdress. Even Haru got the hawk head. But that's so. Have you ever heard that the Isis, Ra, and El connection?
What you describing is another way of describing the holy drama.
Okay.
Right. So you gotta remember, Ra gave one of his eyes to Isis and gave his other eye to Horus.
That's right.
Horus is his grandson.
Yeah.
And Osiris is his son, and Set is his son. And Isis is his daughter. It's the same with Enki, Enlil, and Inanna. Different culture, same story, holy drama. Okay, now, as this go on, you got to have a map for the royal seed that's chosen to learn how to seize the throne. This map is told in a story format called a holy drama. The positions on the map is called the family tree. The keys to the map are the signs and the symbols. When you can put it together, then the story makes sense. But when you can't put it together, you can't make out the story.
Right.
Right? So now, when you look at what it's telling you, Isis' husband Osiris is no longer available on the throne. So she gives birth to Heru. Horus would become at that point what's called the crown prince of heaven and earth. As the crown prince, as a child, he begins his fool's journey, being guided by his mother as his puppet master from his heartstring. She is going to guide and mold him to develop himself in the nature of his father. If his father was a fair man with other people when he dealt with them, she's going to explain that to her son so that he'll know that if you want to be like your father, you have to be a fair man.
It was fair.
If his father was a warrior, she's going to have to tell his father's war stories to develop the warrior in the son. If he was a hard worker, she have to explain to him how hard his father was as a worker so the son won't have a problem working hard. So you're giving you the steps to build a crown prince into the king that seizes the throne. You being the most studied of all who study. To being the thrice great, the best king, statesman, and general, or priest, depending on which school of thought you come from. Right? So when you start climbing the pantheon and you're looking at who's in charge, okay, Inanna, Isis, becomes the queen mother because she birthed Horus. Now she has to give him divine wisdom. This is picking his first consort called Sophia. Right? The mother picks the wife of the crown prince that crowns him king. Together they crown him king, as in King of Hearts, the king of the loved, the most loved, most respected. And then they send him out to the world to get to be a crash dummy and find out if that shit work or if he's just talking. When they find out it worked, then he earned his stripes. And he's ready to restore Mama back to her throne. Queen Mother Seal, 13th seat.
Hey, Rod. So now I've been getting a lot of tapes from people of these whistleblowers from NASA and other secret organizations like Elon Musk facility where he got his stuff going, and they all saying that there's some kind of calamity coming. And that the government know about it, but they ain't telling us about it. And some people are saying, oh, that's the reason why the government really was meeting up, because they prepared for some kind of mass event. Some people are saying it's the 3-Eye Atlas joint.
Let me ask you this.
About these whistleblowers. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The government ain't telling us?
No. That's what they say.
What's the state of the government right now?
The government shut down.
So how they gonna tell us anything? They don't know shit because they closed. Yeah. They already told us the 3-Eye Atlas be here November 10th.
Yeah.
Right? Unless it changed speed again and then it switched the date. But that's pretty much a timer. And the 3-Eye Atlas timer, it's also telling you it's a whole bunch of ships. Don't get it twisted. If we living in the fucking dome, I don't know where all these ships coming from and where they gonna go, because they can't get in if we in a dome.
Right.
And where they coming from? But they there. What's up with this ship that keep popping out on the side of the moon with these little baby ships surrounding it?
Right. I seen it.
Right. And amateur astronomers is recording this shit on their home cameras. And you can go on to the website, NASA webs. Well, I don't know if NASA's still up. I think they closed too. Yeah, I think they closed NASA. With the government shutdown, I think that made NASA close. I think I remember reading that a couple days ago. Which means there's nobody to report on the activities of 3i Atlas or any of these other incoming bogies, wherever they coming from. Nobody's to report on it because the government shut down, and all of the people that were supposed to be reporting on it can't go to work because ain't nobody opening the doors because ain't nobody getting paid.
You think it's a cover up for because they got time to get the hell on and go on, say, like a 2012 type thing where they went to these Noah's Arks underground or something to get out, leave us hanging?
They've been ships parked on the far side of the moon, sun, not moon, from us. The sun blinding our view to them, but they've been sitting there in formation for like 6 years. Just parked. Right? And you had a couple of giant objects that NASA recorded. They blacked out, but you can see them fueling from the sun.
I seen that.
This was 7 years ago.
I got the video saved on my
laptop. So whatever going on out there, it's been wherever they are, wherever they come from, they've been here. I think they just us watching us play Fortnite. They us watching us play ourselves in The Sims.
That makes sense. They can do that.
Because it's all holographic.
That's right.
You can't be holographic if you're not in a hologram. Let that sink in. Right? And then it's all carried on frequencies of light. How do you break up frequencies of light? You need crystals. Crystals run holograms.
That's right.
So it don't matter how you look. Your DNA is amino acid crystals.
That's right.
Make up your DNA. So you go with your crystals again. Then you got something called epigenetics that tell you that you broadcasting yourself into your form from somewhere else. Well, where the hell is someone else at? Well, I can't see over here. Why I can see over here? Why I can't talk to the people on that side of me where I'm projecting from while I'm in the game? I gotta wait till I get outside the game to talk to them. What's going on?
It's called elusive dreaming. That's what they. I mean, did you go in on that, Rod? Lucid, because it's like you dreaming and you're aware that it's a dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's what makes you lucid. You are awake inside of the dream. You are conscious of the fact that you are walking around in a dream.
Right.
Right? And I give this exercise out. I'm going to give it out again. Every day until you forget. Pull on your finger. Look around. Assess your environment. And if you realize you're not having a dream, say, nope. I'm not having a dream. But when I have a dream, I'm going to wake up in my dream aware. And then I'm going to do, and then whatever it is you want to do in a dream, put that at the end of it. Every day, a couple times a day. Until one day you just going to forget to do it. Now your subconscious mind is processing the data of how to make you become lucid inside your dream. Once you forgot to perform the function in the 3D, you surrendered it to the 4D to act on the program. after a matter of time, you're going to be asleep. You're going to pull your finger in the dream. You're going to look around and say, oh, this is a dream. Right? You might even tell yourself how you know it's a dream. And then you're going to say, I said when I wake myself up, when I wake up in my dream, I was going to do this. And then you instantly, whatever it is, you're going to be there.
That's fire. That's fire.
But you're going to be aware of your control of it the whole time you're doing it.
Now, so is this? Some people say, and based on a couple of movies that I watched, and they teach us in these movies, and they was working on this with Adolf Hitler and the movie Inception and stuff. Now, I didn't went to sleep like my cousin died, and then I didn't went to a dream and been an elusive dream, and I seen my cousin like he's still alive on the other side, but I seen him in another reality. It's like, what if when you nobody really know, but what if when you die, you just wake up in another parallel universe of your, like, say if I leave here, I just wake up. I think I died on that side, but I think I'm still alive, but I'm in a whole nother reality. You know what I'm saying? When I die,
that's parallel universes. Yeah. But now, when you get down to becoming Jet Leader 1.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the dream, right, it's going to be the same reality, but it's going to be the mirror opposite side of it. The reality is once you get to the point where you brought all of your multi-dimensional selves to bear up on one timeline. Everything is just a mirror at that point when you go to sleep. It's like you're going to sleep and you keep dreaming about being in the same place at home. Because as far as you're going in your dream, the other side, I'm on the other side now, I'm on the mirrorverse. Did that come with years of collapsing timelines? And you can consciously collapse timelines, but that's a whole other formula that I don't want to go into right now.
Hey, this when I was in class one day with this ascended master, and he was breaking down the Akashic records in connection with the Book of Life, which he said is an organic book. It was really, the Akashic records really is the Book of Life, but it's a whole record, like a library. But what he said is that this records records every single thing. But he said, I just wrote it down. Okay, yeah. This is what he said. He said that the based on, like you said, it's a hologram and all that. He said it's recording 3 situations. It always records 3 situations, meaning that, like right now, I'm sitting on here talking to you right now. That's one situation. Another situation, in another reality, I'm laying down asleep. On another reality, I'm sitting there at the table like I always is, working on the AI tape or something, or studying or something. So he said all those 3 situations is going on at one time. And he said sometimes that some people die in one reality, but they get cut and paste. Meaning they say, oh, you've heard people say I almost had a near-death experiment, like a experience, like I knew I was dead and then I came back, or I was supposed to be dead and then I came back. But what if when they died, they came back in one of those other 2 realities, like the dude was explaining? He said it's 3-dimensional world.
Yeah, that's what they call a collapsing reality model.
Okay.
The near-death experience, you survived it in this timeline, but in the neighboring timeline, you didn't.
Yeah.
So your awareness shift from the one where you died at, you don't even not need it over there no more to be aware, because you're dead there. Mm-hmm. So all of your awareness moves into this one. That's the collapse of timelines. Mm. Right? So the near-death experience gives you the woo factor. Oh, barely almost didn't make it. You made it to a different timeline. Yeah. Right? But now your life might be different. You might find out you like Brussels sprouts and you ain't never liked them before. Why all of a sudden I like Brussels sprouts?
Right.
Right? You collapse the timeline. The timeline where you didn't lined up with the timeline where you didn't know you liked them. When you liked them in the other timeline. So now you remember both timelines. The time you didn't like them, and now that you tasted them and realized you did like them. Yeah, the fork in the road is where you decided to taste it to see if you like it, knowing you didn't like it before. That's the fork in the road.
Yeah, so it's how you know that's how you could probably tell that you got switch. Your time frames got switched. Because I remember one day you called me and you said, "Man, it was like your time. You lost like 4 hours worth of time. Like you was on at 10 o'clock at night, but it was like 7 o'clock. It was something crazy that happened that day."
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was recorded.
Yeah, it's recorded. I got it. Yeah,
it was recorded, y'all. I wasn't making it up. It was a real loss in time.
Like 4 hours. It was like 4 or 5 hours. Listen. Yeah. So I wonder if you think that's some kind of do with a glitch? Because they say that since we're in a holographic world, there could be glitches. I just
okay, so those are normally caused by solar flares, by coronal mass ejections. That's what they reported that caused that event that we're talking about.
Yep, the same day.
It was the coronal mass ejection that made a wrinkle in the tank. That was the answer for the lost time.
I remember it.
Yeah. It was coronal mass ejection. That's not an uncommon phenomenon, but they don't want people to panic, so they try to make them immune to it or desensitized to it by not discussing it to them. So they'll know that when it happened, oh, this is what it was. Right? Because that brings about what's called doomsday thinking.